There was an afternoon when you stopped. Not out of obligation, not out of tiredness. You just stopped, as if something invisible touched your shoulder. The air carried the scent of damp leaves. And for an instant, you remembered who you were before you learned to be productive. You were in the kitchen, perhaps. Or walking down a street you'd known since you were a child. The light was different that day, as if the whole world was whispering your name. And you felt something you couldn't name. It was a feeling of recognition. Like finding a letter from you written a long time ago. The words were still yours, but the handwriting seemed strange. You wondered when you'd stopped writing letters. When you stopped waiting for answers. Now the world buzzes louder. Your mornings start with notifications. Your thoughts are interrupted by alerts. And you move through the days as if you were always late. Where to? No one can explain it properly. There's a hurry that doesn't belong to you. An urgency that has been planted in your pockets. You carry a device that knows your fears better than your friends. It knows exactly when you're vulnerable, and offers tailor-made distractions for your voids. If you're still listening to this, it's because something in you resists. There's a part of you that hasn't been tamed, that still remembers the taste of silence, the weight of a book in your hands, the texture of time when it was in no hurry. You can't imagine how much effort it takes to keep you distracted. How many brilliant minds are paid fortunes to steal your attention. They study your clicks like scientists study animal behavior. And they create ever more sophisticated traps. For prey that doesn't even know it's being hunted. But you feel it, don't you? That tiredness that doesn't come from the body. That loneliness in the midst of the digital crowd. That hunger that no amount of content can satisfy. That thirst that no scroll can quench. There's something about you that reminds me of when your hands knew the earth. When your eyes could read the clouds. When your heart beat to the rhythm of the seasons. Before it was synchronized with algorithms. You used to dream without a script. Your fantasies had no commercial soundtrack. Your discoveries happened at human speed. And boredom was a portal, not a problem. An invitation inwards, not a system failure. Remember the last time you got lost? Not on the GPS, but for real. When you didn't know where you were and it was an adventure. When asking directions meant talking to strangers. When getting lost was a way of finding yourself. Now you always know where you are. Your device locates you with millimeter precision. But you wonder if you've ever felt so lost. So disconnected from yourself. So far from home, even though you're at home. There is a silent conspiracy against your stillness. Against your moments of contemplation. Against your ability to be present. They've turned boredom into panic. And loneliness into an emergency. But you're not broken. That restlessness you feel is not a defect. It's ancestral intelligence reacting to a toxic environment. It's your spiritual immune system at work. It's your soul asking to breathe. There are days when you feel like you're watching your life from the outside. As if you were a spectator in your own film. And the script doesn't feel like yours. The lines don't come naturally. And you wonder who is directing this story. You're not the first to feel this way. There is a secret lineage of people who resist. Who keep an older flame burning. Who refuse to trade depth for speed. Who choose presence over productivity. They walk among us like double agents. They play the game, but they don't lose their soul. They use technology without being used by it. And they keep secrets about how to really live. In a world that has forgotten what that means. If you're listening to this, you're one of them. Or you're being called to be one. There's something in your frequency that won't accept mediocrity. That isn't satisfied with substitutes. That still remembers the flavor of real life. You miss conversations that matter. Glances that last longer than seconds. Hugs that aren't just a greeting. Laughter that comes from deep within. Tears that cleanse rather than embarrass. There's a difference between being connected and being connected. Between being seen and being known. Between information and wisdom. Between stimulation and satisfaction. And you feel this difference in your body. Your ancestors knew things you've forgotten. How to read nature's signs. How to heal with your hands. How to tell stories that transform. How to be silent without fear. They didn't need apps to meditate. They didn't need reminders to drink water. They didn't need step counters to move. They lived integrated with their own bodies, their own breathing, their very existence. You carry this wisdom in your blood. It hasn't been lost, just covered up. Like a spring covered by dry leaves. The water is still there, clear and fresh, waiting for you to remove the obstacles. There are nights when you feel this more clearly, when the digital world finally falls silent, and you're left alone with your thoughts. No notifications, no diary, no rush, and for a moment, you recognize yourself. In those moments, you remember who you are under the layers, under the expectations, under the social masks, under the constant performance of being someone, and you discover that you've always been enough, exactly as you are. You don't need anything else. You don't need external validation. You don't need more followers. You don't need more likes. You just need to remember. Remember that you are part of something bigger, that your ancestors are in your cells, that the earth is in your bones, that the stars are in your blood, and that you've never really been alone. There is an invisible network connecting all things, older than the internet, faster than any connection. It's the network of consciousness, of compassion, of presence. You can access it at any time. You don't need a password. You don't need a plan. You just need to stop, breathe, feel it, and remember that you are part of it, that you've always been part of it. There is a silent revolution taking place, not in the streets, but in consciousness. People waking up from their collective trance, choosing authenticity over approval, choosing presence over performance. They are disconnecting in order to reconnect, leaving the networks to enter themselves, swapping followers for real friends, and discovering that less can be infinitely more, that emptiness can be fullness. You can be one of these people. You can choose every moment. You can decide where to place your attention, where to invest your energy, how to spend your life. You don't need a dramatic revolution. You don't need radical changes. Sometimes all it takes is a small gesture, a conscious breath, a moment of true presence, like taking your headphones off in the street and listening to the sounds of the city, the birds that still sing, the children who still play, the old people who still talk, like putting the phone away during dinner and looking into the eyes of the person you're with. Really look, really see, and discovering that there are whole universes in the people you love, like waking up without checking your messages and giving yourself the first few minutes of the day to feel how your body feels, how your heart is, how your soul is. These small acts are seeds of a more conscious life, more present, more real, and they grow slowly, silently, like all important things. You don't have to be perfect. You don't always have to get it right. You can make mistakes, you can stumble, you can go back on autopilot and choose again. Every moment is a new chance to be here, really here, to be you, really you, to live your life, really live it, instead of just surviving it. There is a secret beauty waiting for you, in the gaps between activities, in the spaces between words, in the silence between songs, in the pause between breaths. That's where life really happens, not in the great achievements, not in photographable moments, but in the small everyday miracles, which only those who are present can see, like the light changing on the wall, like the sound of rain on glass, like the smell of coffee in the morning, like the sensation of cold water in your throat, like the weight of sleep coming on. These moments don't generate content. They don't get likes. They don't go viral. But they are your real treasure, your real wealth, your inheritance. what you take with you when you leave. And when you're gone, it won't matter much. How many followers you had, how many messages you replied to, how many hours you spent connected. But it will matter a lot. If you really loved, if you really lived, if you were there, for your own life, to your own heart. This message is not for everyone. Many will hear it and not understand. They'll find it dramatic, exaggerated. They'll go back to their screens, to their safe distractions. But if it's for you, you feel it. There's something in your cells that you recognize. This truth that has no age. That wisdom that has no owner. That invitation that has always been there. You don't have to be huge to matter. You don't have to be famous to be valuable. You don't have to shout to be heard. You just need to be awake, to be present, be alive. And if you've come this far, you already are. You've already chosen. You already know. There's something in you that can't be bought, that can't be programmed, that can't be erased. It's your essence, your truth. It's connection with the eternal. And it's waiting for you to stop running and just be.